Chillin'. What's up, guys? I wanted to share something that's often on my mind pretty much every day recently. And I share this quote a lot because if you haven't noticed, we're in the midst of culture wars. A culture war, yes. Winston Churchill was quoted to have said, "The war of the future will be the war of the minds." And that is exactly where we are. We're at a point in human history where, for the most part, we have down survival, our basic needs covered. And what comes after survival? Existence. Okay. What is our existence now? Is it sitting on a couch, cozy, after work? Because we're not fighting on the physical level every day for our territory, tribal warfare. That's covered. What's next is what goes on in our mind. Control, which is false. It has no divine anchoring, no natural anchoring. But control exists because there's a fundamental flaw of humanity, and that is that we suffer from dis-ease, because really we shouldn't have to suffer. We're all already whole. We are divine. And that's the sophistry of believing that we need to suffer, but it's also the beauty in being here, existing as a human. Because through that suffering and the healing from the suffering, we're able then to experience tenfold what it feels like to feel alive and pulled out of that suffering, and the joy and the just oomph of expressing. Okay, so we're in a war of the minds, right? What does that mean? It means they're coming after truth, baby. It's been a thing for some time now, fake news. We've seen a lot of crazy stories being pushed the last 3 years, or not pushed. The point being that there's a divide in how people see it, and we're all pointing fingers at each other, and we're not pointing fingers, not that any should be pointed, but the true cause is the machine of it all. The machine of human suffering saying that control is such a thing. And so you get a group of people in that momentum, and then everything will fall by the wayside and they'll just go after control. Also, when the world's expanded to such a large scale as it is globally, you're detached from your neighbor. And so because it doesn't hit home how things affect you, how they affect your neighbor, it's much easier for people to become detached from that and therefore seek control for their own gain, because that's affecting them personally. But they don't feel how it affects someone else. And again, that's because we are overexpanded. We're not supposed to exist on a global scale. We're meant to live in tribe. We're meant to live smaller. That's a huge part of our, again, back to suffering. True suffering now is believing that we are not whole as ourselves and in community, because we really aren't whole as a community, because we're in such a big, it's like when you're in a room full of people, so many people, that you feel so alone because there's too many people. It kind of negates it. And it's like there's no one there. It feels more lonely than if you were to be in that room all by yourself. because it's the fake promise that you're connecting with others. That's the effect of social media, you know? It has its benefits, yes, but it also is a very fine line because it gives you this illusion that you're connecting with someone when you aren't, you know? There's still an interface. I mean, heck, in person there's an interface of energy and our own bodies, but then you have this next level of this machine, a real machine and computer. I digress. My whole point here to get through is nobody can tell you your truth. We set the truth. We set the way. We choose how we're going to live our lives. Every choice you make is deciding how your future goes. You're deciding in everything you do. You wake up, you put your feet on the ground, you stretch, you don't stretch. You're making a decision in every moment. That's why meditation is so great, because or just to pause and breathe, to pause. Because for that split moment, then you're in the space of witnessing what you're doing and seeing that you are taking these steps, making these choices to move on ahead. So it is up to us in the field to anchor in our own decisions and to move boldly forward in our choices, to know and take 100% accountability for all of them, and to be present in the moment, and to just be yourself and amplify this in the world, and then others will see you and say, hey, how come this person's doing all these things? How are they doing that? How are they getting their vision? How are they living such a connected, groovy life? People will start asking questions because, as we know, we cannot wake others up. We wake ourselves up. And it's a very heartbreaking thing often, because that's all you want to do is wake up your brothers and sisters, you know, from this slumber, from allowing the world to define their experience, from this victim mentality. Oh, we are not victims. And that's exactly what I am expressing here. We are not victims. That's just false. We cannot be a victim, because we are a divine essence, divine expression. We are just like the birds and bees and trees. We are beautiful, and we make the choice every day to exist as we do. And it's up to us to choose how our life goes. Others will follow. Okay, so hope that made sense. Love ya.